Oh, hello. Didn't see you there. It's Richard Scott Jones, Esquire, and I'm here to recount to you the story of Fortnite. All 10 seasons of it, in fact. Let us begin. Do be a dear and make sure to subscribe to the channel, won't you? There's a good sport. So let's start at the absolute beginning. Season 1. What happened? Well, not much, to be quite honest. Season 2 was pretty uneventful as well. It wasn't until Season 3 that Epic really started introducing proper game-changing storylines. So, Season 3, March 20th, 2018. A light appears in the sky. Every day it gets bigger. People are running around going, "Ooh, what's that light in the sky? Is it God? Aliens? Superman?" They get their answer when meteors, or more technically meteorites, since that's the correct word for a meteor that enters the Earth's atmosphere and then lands on the Earth, when meteorites start falling onto the map, preceding the one giant meteorite that smacks down in Dusty Depot and creates the area now known as Dusty Divot. It is very dusty. On to Season 4, and in the wake of the meteorite collision, there's an ongoing government investigation. It looks kind of like that bit in Thor, where S.H.I.E.L.D. puts up loads of structures around Mjolnir. Meanwhile, all the little rocky fragments that landed elsewhere across the map start granting players new powers, like being able to jump really high. These rocky fragments are called Hop Rocks, and over the course of Season 4, the government works to chip away at the giant Dusty Divot meteorite to excavate said Hop Rocks. These are then transported to an evil villain's lair on the mountainside near Snobby Shores. Okay, we're exaggerating. It's a fake villain's lair, because this was a movie set. A few weeks before the season ended, the meteor was finally chipped away and the metal container resting inside it was opened to reveal the Visitor, who looks kind of like a futuristic space android. The Visitor went immediately to the villain's lair, loaded into a rocket, and, using Hop Rocks as fuel, blasted into space. This was a big moment for Fortnite, perhaps the biggest so far, because you could actually go into a match and watch in real time as the Visitor lit up the sky and created a crack in the space-time continuum. Then things got truly weird. That big sky rift started sucking up features from the map and spitting them out at random real-world locations. The hamburger from Greasy Grove appeared in real life in a desert in California. Is Fortnite real? So, Season 5, and what happened with all that giant crack in the sky nonsense? Well, not much until August, when the rift began blasting lightning into one specific location in the desert. It was in the southwest corner of the map, where Moisty Mire used to be. The rift then closed completely, but not before leaving behind a giant purple cube where the lightning struck. No one knew what the cube was. Some people tried shooting it, and it zapped you with lightning. Some people tried hitting it and were then knocked back. Things got weirder still when the cube started moving on its own, rolling around the map like a possessed Rubik's Cube, and burning mysterious symbols into the ground. At the climax of Season 5, our presumed benevolent cube buddy, Kevin, rolled right into Loot Lake and caused the entire body of water there to turn purple and bouncy. Season 6 time. Here's what happened. Okay, day 1. The mysterious powers of the cube Kevin caused the islands at Loot Lake to float off into the sky. Remember those symbols that Kevin burned into the ground last season? Well, the island began to visit each of these symbols. When it got to each one in turn, it charged up with strange energy and messed up the environment, creating a dangerous volcanic pit. Kevin itself kept growing as well. The island came to rest over the corrupted zone just between Dusty Divot and Salty Springs. Once that happened, runes rose from the ground where the symbols were and all headed there, where Kevin the Cube proceeded to start sucking up energy from them. And once that happened, the island moved back to its original place at Loot Lake and shot a beam up into the sky, creating a portal. Out came cube monsters, husks, aka Fort Nightmares. God, this is getting weird. Oh yeah, also the cube Kevin exploded and transported all players who were in a match at the time into an all-white dimension. All while a cloud of snow was fast approaching. Season 7 plunged us into a snowy oblivion. The massive iceberg Epic had teased at the end of last season finally hit the map and introduced us all to Buff Santa. It also obliterated Greasy Grove and Flush Factory, but that's okay because it gave us a few new locations. Locations like the Castle of Polar Peak, Happy Hamlet, and Frosty Flights. As the days passed, the iceberg melted, revealing more new map features, including the Infinity Blade, a callback to Epic's mobile game of the same name. You could pull it out of the ground in Polar Peak and wreak havoc on the competition. Epic eventually removed it because it was blatantly OP, and now we never speak of the Infinity Blade again. As the season went on, weather warnings started to appear on TVs around Fortnite, along with a countdown timer and a strange sphere above Polar Peaks. When the time elapsed, the Ice King showed his icy face. Again, another countdown began, and finally the Ice King awoke and sprayed snow everywhere. Meanwhile, in the castle, melting ice was slowly revealing a chained prisoner. This prisoner escaped and, over the coming weeks, changed his form to, like, a really powerful form. He caused a bunch of earthquakes to happen, earthquakes which then made a volcano rise out of the ground. So you can see why the Ice King wanted to contain the guy. Season 8 started with a massive three-way tussle between the blue team, the Ice King, the red team, the prisoner, and the black team, or pirates. As all that was going on, you'd be forgiven for missing the helicopter that was travelling around the map digging shit up. Once again, poor old Loot Lake saw the most turmoil and got turned into a site not unlike Dusty Divot. There was a Fortnite item vault underneath it, and in an event, everyone got a vote on what item they wanted to bring back from the vault into the game. They chose the drum gun. When that happened, the volcano started erupting, leveling Retail Row, Tilted Towers, and Polar Peak. So, to sum up, earthquakes, pirates, dig site, underground vault, volcano, explosions. At the beginning of Season 9, it's revealed that Jonesy and a weird, as opposed to normal, walking banana ran into a vault to escape from the exploding volcano. Years and years pass, as we can tell from the Season 9 trailer. Jonesy is now known as Bunker Jonesy, and as for the banana, well, the banana went to a farm upstate. We don't blame Jonesy, there was no food, and after a while, a huge banana is going to look quite appealing. Anyway, the vault door is finally open from the outside, and they have entered the future, adding Neo Tilted, Mega Mal, Pressure Plant, Slipstreams, Sky Platforms, and John Wick's house. With the explosion from the volcano last season having hit Polar Peak, an eye has also appeared, peering out from the impact zone. During Week 5, though, the monster and the castle both mysteriously disappear, although there are a set of footprints on the island heading west and into the sea, suggesting that's where the monster might have got to. Meanwhile, at Pressure Plant, a giant mech was under construction. There was a countdown to the end of the season, and when it hit 0, the mech and the monster, known respectively as Catus and Doggus, did battle. It looked like Catus was going to win, with Doggus having lost an arm. However, he manages to harness some energy from Loot Lake, sparks Catus right in the face, rips a sword out of Neo Tilted, and it was flipping awesome. He pummeled it right through Catus's head and slayed the beast. And like a true hero, Doggus flew away into the sky. And in Fortnite, the future was looking very bright. And that brings us right up to date with Season 10, or Season X as Epic likes to style it. And something weird is happening. The trailer shows us how the energy that Doggus had used from Loot Lake, now known as 0 Point, which is interesting because 0 point energy is actually a real thing in physics. Anyway, that's created some sort of weird time rift. Jonesy is absorbed by 0 Point and enters a different dimension. There we see the Visitor rocket from way back fly past him and fly past new variants of different characters. When Jonesy lands back on the map, things aren't what they were. The meteorite that originally hit the world in Season 3 is stuck in the sky with the Visitor's space pod open, and we're still unsure where he is. Dusty Depot is back, as well as the factory. However, they're not exactly the same as before. The colours of each building at Dusty Depot have been changed around. Another rift also appears over Neo Tilted, and suddenly Neo Tilted turns into Tilted Town, a weird cowboy town where you can't build or use your pickaxe to harvest materials. Oh, and there are brutes, but the less said about them, the better. Season 10 is far from over though, and there are going to be a ton of changes between now and whenever it finishes. So subscribe to us on PC Games N to stay up to date on all Fortnite goings on. Thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time. Take care.